Hello, good afternoon, and you're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. And how are markets shaping up? Seems like not a bad day coming in for the markets. Green is what we're holding on to.
Not a bad day. It's in fact a good day coming in for the markets, Vinny, because we have only built on gains when it comes to the benchmark indices. Ditto coming in for the broader markets as well as Nifty Bank. We are seeing solid performance coming in from the Indian markets. If you look at the way how actually the realty index is shaping up, it's rallying, it's a rip-rolling rally that we are seeing actually for the realty counters. 4.5% uptick coming in for Nifty real estate, realty index. And also you're seeing good strength across the board in today's trading session. There's only mild bit of positive moves coming in for the pharma index. But if you look at the rest of the markets, pretty much healthy. So it's a good Tuesday coming in for the benchmark indices, and a lot of stocks actually hitting fresh record high levels.
Absolutely a good day coming in for the T Street there. But let's look at which are the individual stock movers then today. And on the technical front today, we're joined by Kunal Bothra, while from the research team, we have Ankita as well as Vamakshi joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of you all as well. And I'll be starting with the first stock that is in focus. We have Adani Ports that's in focus today. We have a couple of brokerage notes that have come in. One is from Motilal Oswal, where they have initiated coverage on Adani Ports with a buy rating, given a target price of 1,010 rupees per share. What Motilal Oswal is highlighting is that they believe that, the company, obviously Adani Port, the private port operator, is one of the largest in India, and obviously with a 24%, more than 24% share in cargo handling, and they are across 14 ports. So they believe that the company will actually achieve utilizations that will start improving. Volume will grow at around 10% of CAGR over FY23 to FY25 for the existing ports, and obviously they will achieve the east to west parity and become complete logistics solution provider as well. And obviously this will be by FY23 to FY25 in these couple of years when they will be seeing these changes coming in. So they expect a volume growth of around 12% as well as a 15% growth in terms of the revenue for the company, and the revenue is backed by SEZ income as well as uptick in the logistics business as well. Even CLSA is highlighting in terms of the issues that are going on in Israel. They said that this fall that we saw in the stock price yesterday, that could actually work out as a buying opportunity and a better opportunity in such a time. So they too are positive on Adani Ports. So both these notes are giving a thumbs up to Adani Ports.
All right, just taking the note of the flashes on the bottom of your screen, because you have IMF statements coming in where they've actually warned of stubborn inflation and weak global growth outlook for 2024. But if you look at India's FY24 CPI inflation, they've kept the forecast at 5.5%, and for FY25 at 4.6%. They have also kept FY25 GDP growth forecast unchanged for India at 6.3%, and they have raised FY24 GDP forecast by 20 basis points to about 6.3%. You have IMF as well as World Bank meetings this week, so you are going to get continuous commentary from the IMF as well as the World Bank talking about India growth outlook. But let me talk about Cyient, and while Cyient in focus is the fact that you have a lot of actually brokerage now take note of what is happening in Israel and Hamas war, and now you have Incred that's come out with a note, and particularly highlighting about Cyient is what they are saying is the fact that suppliers of parts for Israeli defense manufacturers are likely to see an uptick in the business. Therefore, they have an ad rating coming in for Cyient because the Cyient makes printed circuit boards for Israeli firms like Rafale as well as Israel aerospace industry. So on back of that, they have an ad rating coming in for Cyient. They've also set a very healthy target for the stock. So that's why keep Cyient on your radar.
Let's move on and talk about a realty name. And Kunal, you picked out DLF for us. And today the Nifty Realty obviously is trading at a 15-year high. But DLF too has been on your list before as well. Look at the stock up move in the last 6 months, 36% uptick. What is the upside now you could see here?
Yeah, a good breakout for DLF. The stock making a fresh multi-year high, crossing back about the 550, 560 mark today. Looks attractive. The setup on the charts in terms of volumes is also very encouraging for DLF, and this comes at a point where many of the real estate stocks, mid cap, small cap, I think are on the verge of a breakout, individual breakout. So which means that this is a strong sector move, and DLF could be one of the stocks, prominent stocks in that aspect, which could lead this breakout. So it looks very attractive, and from a medium to longer term perspective, I would look out for much higher returns from current levels. The near-term targets which I've highlighted for DLF in the last couple of days is closer to 580 to 590 mark.
All right, moving on, Ankita, let's talk about Mazagon Dock and why is this particular stock rallying in trade today?
That's correct, Cheryl. This particular stock is rallying in trade today. In fact, it was up some 6% when the news came out. It jumped 6%, after it signed the letter of intent for 10 multi-purpose hybrid power vessels. Now, the company, said that it has signed a letter of intent with a European client. Now, the LOI outlines plans for the construction of 6 firm units and 4 option units of 7,500 DWT multi-purpose hybrid power vessels. Now, the prices of these vessels will be finalized at the time of signing the official contract. This came out according to the stock exchange filing, and on the back of that, the stock was firing on all cylinders, was up 6%, has come down, has cooled off a bit, and is now up more than 4.5% in trade.
Okay, let's move on and talk about another realty name that is building on to gains today, and strong gains here for Puravankara Vavakshi. Why is this one buzzing away in trade?
Well, Vinny, the stock is buzzing in the trading session today, and that is on account of the company's quarter 2 update. Now, keep in mind that the sales value for the second quarter came in at around 1,600 odd crores. Now, this is an uptick of almost 102% that has come in on a year-on-year basis. In fact, this is the uptick when we compare it on a sequential basis is as much as 42%. So, definitely a good, strong update that has come in from Puravankara. They've also managed to achieve record high sales in the second quarter itself. When we talk about the collections as well, they are seeing a very healthy growth, up nearly 70% on a year-on-year basis in the second quarter, standing at 880 odd crores. When we talk about the average price realization, that has also improved by almost 7%, and in fact the company managed to launch 1 new project as well as 2 new phases in the quarter gone by. They are also quite confident of sustaining the momentum of pre-sales growth is what they have highlighted as well. So given a very strong update that has come in from the company, yes, the stock had taken a beating of late on account of income tax department searches, but the management came and clarified on the same as well. But as of now, Puravankara, on the back of its strong Q2 update, the stock is up and away in the trading session today, trading nearly 13% higher.
All right, so the stock is soaring in trade on back of healthy sales numbers, and in fact the company is also on track for new launches this quarter. This is what Abhishek Kapoor, who is the CEO at the company, told ET Now. Let's hear what else did he have to say about the festive season, the sales momentum going ahead.
For the festive season, we expect the trend to continue. Typically, the third quarter and the fourth quarter is better than the first 2 quarters, and we expect that trend for the industry to continue. For us, as an organization, we have lined up multiple new launches. Total of 15 million square foot is the plan to be launched in this financial year, and we are on track in terms of the launches, and we will do those launches, at least 4 if not 5 launches in this particular quarter, and these are at final stages of approvals and RERA, and along with that, of course, the sustenance sales and the previous launches which have already been done will enable us to continue to see the sales momentum. We believe that it is an opportunity for organized and branded players like us to gain more market share. So our effort is to maximize and do the best we can to increase our volumes and sales.
Let's move on to the next stock on the technicals. And Kunal, Coal India is the stock that you've picked out for us. Last 6 months, you look at it, it's moved around from those 220 levels and as of now trading at 300. What is your view now on Coal India? Should we expect the upside that we've seen coming in the last couple of months to continue?
Well, after 5 years of period, the stock has come back to the 300 plus mark, and this is a strong psychological breakout as well as a round figure breakout for Coal India, the stock crossing the hurdle of 300. Interestingly, the rally actually started off in the fag end of the month of August, start of September, when the stock moved from 230 levels to I think 280 approximately in just a matter of 4 or 5 days, and post that it's actually gone to an continuation in terms of an upward trend. So today again is a breakout move for Coal India. The recent low for the stock was around 280 to 85 mark. That should act as a major support for the stock over the near term. So would advise traders to hold on to long positions on Coal India. My expectation is that 280 could be a fresh base for the stock price. On the higher side, we could be looking at 325 to even 350 as a possible target for Coal India over the medium term.
Okay, that is Coal India for you all. But talking about one more realty name, we have to cover most of them today, given that the Nifty Realty is trading at a 15-year high. But obviously, looking at the stock today as well, this one isn't focused on the back of its Q2 sales update. Looking at the growth that has come in on a year-on-year basis in terms of the pre-sales, that is up by 52% on a year-on-year basis. Quarter-on-quarter basis also, it's up by 12%. The collections also, on a quarter-on-quarter basis, remained flat at around 111 crores. Year-on-year basis, a 9% growth is what the company has seen for the quarter Q2 update sales. Now, in terms of the commentary that has come in from the management, they said that the momentum for their sales trajectory is expected to continue going forward as well. And we also managed to actually speak to Dhaval Ajmera of the management of the company, and in terms of understanding what is the growth that they're expecting and if this is actually sustainable going forward in the next few quarters. Let's listen into what he had to say.
We as a company have been looking at a growth trajectory over the last few years, and that has been reflecting in our results as well. Going forward, Q3, Q4 also, we are hoping to have this continued sustained momentum coming. Yes, there has been few launches which we have done. We have acquired a few projects, but obviously those approvals and those things will come in the process over the next few quarters. So definitely what we see is in the coming few, next 2 quarters over the year, we are definitely looking at sustained momentum. The government should continue with the love which for real estate which the public has. I think if sustained, if we get some improvements, what we saw in stamp duty waiver or interest subsidies, it will only add on to this momentum, and people will continue to even buy faster and better. So I personally believe this should be, because even though government is subsidizing it, is eventually going to increase their pockets because there will be more sales happening and more buying happening.
All right, on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. But viewers, stay tuned, because when we come back, there's lots more stocks to discuss, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET Now, a show where we get you all the stocks that are buzzing based on news flow. And next up, let's talk about Vascon Engineers, because that particular counter was trading flat for most part of the trading session. But then there you can see on your screen a sharp spike coming in on the counter. Why such a spike coming in on that particular stock is the fact that they've bagged a big, they've got a letter of acceptance for an order worth about 353 crore rupees. And post that, you saw the spike coming in on the counter. But not just that, we also spoke to the management of Vascon, as Vascon is actually planning to go ahead and divest its non-core business. Let's hear what the management of the company had to say to us.
GMP this year would be doing, last year they did about 150 crores. We have an 85%, it's 85% holding in the company. It's primarily doing clean rooms for both pharma and semiconductor industries. The growth is very good. This year we are targeting to touch 300 crores from GMP alone. So the growth rate in this is very good. And since it's a specialized business, margins are also improving. As far as the exit from this is concerned, we're looking at purely on base of opportunity. If we get a good valuation, and if it is a strategic partner or if it is a takeover, we are open to looking at it. We are not, because it's not a core business for us, but it's not something like we would exit at any price. So at a good valuation, we would definitely look at it.
Let's move on and talk about Mrs. Spectors, a stock that has seen an uptick of almost 88% in the last 6 months, 186% in the last 1 year. And Kunal, I think you had spoken about it long back and you continue to hold it. Your view has been positive. But now at 1080, should one actually start booking out profits for Mrs. Spectors?
No, I think the move has just started off, I think, on the longer term basis. So, look at the last, I think 8-9 months of the price trend from 400 rupees approximately. The stock has now gone to 4 digits, 1000 plus levels. Now, even in the last 2 months specifically, the stock had seen a first phase of correction, a 10 to 15% drop from the recent swing highs, and then a pickup almost on an immediate basis. So, we call this typically as a V-shaped recovery for the stock. Again, today the stock has done exceptionally well, crossing back or coming close to that 1100 mark. I believe it's a classical sign that the stock is still geared up for a decent upside on the longer term chart. So would advise to hold on to the stock even at current levels.
All right, moving on, Ankita, let's talk about Dilip Buildcon and why is this one soaring in trade today?
Shell, the Dilip Buildcon is soaring in trade today. It is up almost, it's up 2%, and it is on the back of the fact that they have signed a pact with the Water Resource Zone Udaipur for undertaking a project that is worth rupees 396 crores. Now the company, it has received a letter of acceptance and signed the agreement for the new project related to the construction of 2 dams in Rajasthan with a 44-month period of completion. That's what the announcement came in, and on the back of that news flow, we can see an uptick of 2% coming in on the stock.
Let's move on and talk about Escorts, Kubota, then Mamakshi. This one is in focus on the back of a brokerage note.
Well, yes, Vinny, the stock is in focus on the back of a brokerage note that has come in from DAM Capital. They've gone ahead, maintained their buy rating, but more importantly, they've gone ahead and hiked their target price from 3,150 to 5,100. So a massive upgrade as far as the target price is concerned for Escorts Kubota. Now, what DAM Capital has highlighted is that they're expecting higher export growth in order to drive the overall volume growth for the company. Higher scale as well as better export margins could lead to an expansion in the company's margins as well as the profitability. All in all, they're expecting a revenue CAGR of nearly 17% over the next 3 years, an EBITDA CAGR of nearly 31%, and a net profit CAGR of almost 41% over the same period. They also believe that the company's valuation is expected to expand closer to that of other MNCs, which is around 30 times. So all in all, all engines are firing for Escorts Kubota as per DAM Capital. They've maintained their buy rating, but they've gone ahead and given a massive upgrade as far as the target price is concerned to 5,100 rupees per share, and that is the reason why the stock is soaring away in the trading session today, up nearly 5%.
All right, DAM Capital is positive on the counter. We had an ET Now exclusive story also that we broke yesterday, the fact that they're going to go ahead and they're planning to completely hive off their rail business as well. But let's move on, Kunal. Let's talk about SBI, and what's your take coming in on this major PSU banking name? No doubt, it has outperformed its private sector bank peers. But if you look at SBI, compare it to the other PSU names, it's not done much.
Yeah, so very well put, Cheryl, that the stock has been an outperformer with respect to the private banking peers, larger cap names, but an underperformer when you try and compare this with the PSU banking stocks, especially the mid caps and the tier 2 larger cap names on the PSU banking front. Now, but the case in point for SBI at current levels is that the risk reward to enter at current levels of 585 to 590 approximately is very, very attractive. The stock has come back towards multiple tests of the support in the last 2 months. I think this is the third or the fourth attempt towards the stock trying to test the support level, and every time the stock has managed to bounce, it's come back to at least 600, 605 mark. So eventually, I would believe that the breakout could happen on the upside with strength across the banking index as well as across many of the other PSU banking stocks. I think it could just be a matter of time that even SBI could head into a strong breakout mode. So bullish on the stock and expecting the stock to scale up to new highs hopefully in the next month or so.
Okay, new highs expected for SBI in the month or so time, so keeping an eye out on SBI. Let's move on, talk about Genus Power. This one is in focus after its wholly owned subsidiary has actually bagged an order of around 3,115 crores. This is for supply of smart meters, which is 34.8 lakh smart meters is what they will be supplying. Now, the company has received 2 letters of awards for the designing of the advanced metering infrastructure system with supply, installation as well as commissioning of these 34.8 lakh smart meter prepaid meters. So on the back of this, we're seeing that the stock is locked in upper circuit as of now. And let's not forget, in the last 6 months also, the company's stock price has been gaining away in trade. As of now, the stock is also trading at high levels as well. So keeping an eye out on Genus Power.
All right, let's talk about Eris Life, and Kunal, how are the charts for this one looking like? No doubt the last 1 week has been pretty subdued. It's been flat actually. But if you look at the last 6 months or even for the year to date, the stock has seen good returns, 58% in the last, or rather 50 odd % in the last 6 months. Where do you see Eris Life Sciences now headed?
Well, it's a stock which I don't track that often, but then, interestingly, the stock has shown 2 important chart patterns. One, of course, is the breakout towards the previous or crossing back about the previous major highs. The volumes in the last 1 week shooting up towards a multi-year high for Eris Life, And the most important point is the stock forming a bullish pennant formation on the daily chart. So after a steep up move in the last 1 week or so from 800 to 900 plus, the stock consolidating for a couple of days, I think looks very attractive as a setup. Would look out for a breakout on the upside, and potentially I think with this pattern getting completed, the stock can even head to 4 digit, which is 1000 plus mark.
All right, moving on, Ankita, let's talk about Cummins India and why is this stock in focus today?
Cheryl, Cummins India is in focus on the back of the fact that the company has received a letter from the Assistant Development Commissioner of Pune Cluster SEZ conveying that the cutoff date for the company's unit bearing plot number B12 operating as SEZ in MIDC Paltan to exit from the SEZ scheme has been finalized for the October 11th, and with this the aforesaid unit shall continue to operate as domestic tariff area post the completion of necessary formalities. So on the back of that, this stock is likely to be in focus.
Okay, that is Cummins for you all. But let's move on and talk about Maruti then, Kunal. And what is the view coming in for Maruti now? Where do you see the stock headed in the next couple of months? Should we expect the rally that we have seen in the last 1 month to continue?
So 10,000 was a major hurdle point for Maruti. I think it took a lot of time for the stock to scale past about 10,000 levels. If I'm not wrong, the last time the stock was, or rather the first time the stock was closer to the 10,000 mark was in 2017-18, and then very recently is where the stock had broken past about the 10,000 mark, which was I think just 2 months back. So it took us the stock almost 5 years, 6 years to try and break past about those levels. Now interestingly, what has happened is with this breakout, 10,000 has actually become a support for Maruti, and even in the last 2 weeks of the market volatility, the correction, the stock has not been able to break below this 10,000 mark, which is again an indication that the stock looks very attractive and could be a stock which could provide a very decent returns on the upside. My expectations from Maruti over the medium term, so with a time frame of 6 to 9 months at least, is that the stock can deliver returns of at least 20% further from current levels. So hoping that the stock can come back towards 12,000 plus mark in that kind of a time frame.
All right, and now let's take a look at Edelweiss Mutual Fund's groundbreaking SIP Se Sab Hoga campaign, which is set to revolutionize the world of mutual fund investments. Here are some excerpts from an exclusive interaction or interview with Radhika Gupta, who is the MD and CEO of Edelweiss Asset Management.
The SIP Se Sab Hoga campaign is a 360-degree campaign launched by Edelweiss Mutual Fund, with the aim of educating investors that whether it is a small or a big life goal, it could be going on a vacation, it could be planning for a child's education, it could be buying a car, it could be starting a business. All of these things are possible with the power of an SIP. What is an SIP? It's a habit. It's a way to start investing on a regular basis, regardless of market conditions. Today, if you look at mutual fund penetration as a percentage of our GDP, it's very small. Rich India, I would say, comprises about 12 crore Indians who account for half the GDP, yet we have less than 4 crore mutual fund investors. So this tool of SIP has to travel far and wide, which is why we've launched a specific campaign for SIP.
कैसे होगा? कैसे होगा? कैसे होगा? SIP से होगा.
Investing is really not about timing the markets, earning more return than the other person, but really about fulfilling goals. We earn money to lead a better life and to fulfill goals. And I think this campaign that talks about making investing a lot more real. I think personal finance is truly more about the person than the finance. So I would say I read a sign at a farm recently that said that Mother Nature takes its time, but it does its job. And I think the same thing is absolutely true of equity investing. Equity investing takes time, but it does its job.
That was an excerpt of the exclusive interview with Radhika Gupta, MD and CEO at Edelweiss Asset Management. The SIP Se Sab Hoga campaign endeavors to educate investors about the potential of SIPs and emphasizing on long-term goal-oriented investing. On that note, viewers, we're going to sip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more after this break.